Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 habits that block the law of attraction from working. Now what I really want to do is show you also that on the other side of this, if you are able to switch it around and make it so that these align with what you actually want to experience, it can be so powerful for doing so. Now, the first one I want to share has to do with understanding overthinking and the habit that we have of being identified with our thoughts. Now, in order for us to really get what we want, what we have to be able to do is discern between what our mind is thinking and what we choose to follow, like the path that we choose to follow, because there'll be times that we're going out to do something, but then the autopilot monkey brain kicks in and it starts giving us all of these reasons as to why we can't do what we want to do or why we should go do something else. Now, the idea is that once we become aware and we start to observe our thoughts, what we start to do is to let go of everything that was holding us back in this way. And this is something I share a lot about on my channel because it's just so powerful. When we are too identified with our thinking, the habit of overthinking, what that does is that muddles up everything. Now, understand that one of the most important parts of the process of us getting what we want has to do with our vision, our clarity, and the momentum that we have. So if our vision is of a certain thing that we want to experience in our life, but we have all this overthinking that's clouding that, we don't actually pierce through all of those thoughts so that we can experience what we want. So become very clear as to the thought processes you have, and then simply decide that what you're going to do is you're going to start to observe the thoughts that you have rather than react to them. The easiest way to do this is, I'm at a park right now. The idea is that if you were to sit at a park bench, I could sit at a park bench, I could watch people walk by. I wouldn't judge them walking by. If a dog walked by, I wouldn't chase after it, wouldn't chase after anybody that's walking by. I would just observe them. I wouldn't be attached to labels, I would observe. And the same way, you can do the same thing with your mind. Learn to observe the thoughts you have, and as you come into that level of awareness, you can then choose the next thoughts that you want. And the power is in choice. The power is getting outside of the habitual thoughts that we have, and that's where things really begin to change. Now, the second habit that we must kick has to do, and I'm sure that you've heard this before, but it is procrastination. Now, this is something I learned even with my YouTube channel. At the very beginning, within probably 6 months to a year before I ever even started, I knew that I wanted to create videos, but I was waiting for the perfect camera. I was waiting for the perfect scenario. I was waiting to have all of these things line up. And guess what happened? I waited, and those things weren't even necessary. I could have done it with a less great quality camera. I could have done it on my phone, but the mind will make excuses, and the mind likes to wait. The best advice I can give you is just don't wait. Start now. Start taking action. Because the more you do something, the more you start to build your familiarity with it, and the more you become comfortable with it. If you go back to the beginning videos on my channel, you'll see, look at how I speak. Like, it's a totally different way than I do now. And the only thing and the only reason that I'm so much, it's easier for me to speak now is because I've done hundreds of these videos. I think I've done a video a day since February. It's hundreds of videos that have allowed me to now get to the point to where I am now. So in the same way, simply don't wait. So many people I talk to are waiting for things to happen. If you start now, you start building that momentum that I was talking about, and that momentum is where everything that you want to experience is. So realize that as you do that, things will begin to build, things will fall into place, but the most important part of it is really just knowing and trusting that when you do it, things will start to happen the way that they're supposed to happen. Now, the third habit that we must kick has to do with distractions, and I want to show you a better way to go about this. Now, anything that you're doing creatively, or anytime you're trying to leverage something that you're doing, one of the best things that you can do is to time block it, meaning that you're going to do this one thing within a certain amount of time. Now for me, every day I get up and my intention is to either edit videos or create videos for the first 3 or 4 hours of my day. That's called chunking. And when you do this, there is so much momentum that you get, but anytime we are fixated or we have distractions, which in a way can be a habit, because the habit of checking our phone, the habit of getting on Facebook or getting on Instagram or getting on Snapchat, those things distract us from the center focus that we have. One of the most important parts of the process when it comes to what we call the law of attraction is the focus we have in the direction of where we're going. And that focus becomes much more potent when we simply decide to focus on that one thing for a certain period of time every day. Now, also realize that if you do it every day, that momentum gets compounded over time. That was me. I decided to make a video a day back in February, and that's when things began to build so much quicker because momentum started to build. But what I had to do is every day I had to create a video, and I would time block it into a certain thing I would do, and no matter what, every day I had a video going up before I went to bed that night so that at 10:30 in the morning the next day one could go. That is something that is so powerful. The first thing you do in the morning, I recommend, do the highest leverage thing. And as you do that, what you'll find is that you start to gain momentum, but it also puts your mind in the right place. It gets more potent energy. You'll get more done in those 3 hours than you would have got done in 8 hours of distracted focus. So let go of distractions. Understand that as you let go of procrastination, you simply decide that the best time to start is right now, and then you learn to observe your thoughts rather than be reactive to it. You'll see that everything begins to change and you start to actually get what you want. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Also, hit that little notification gear right next to the subscribe button so that you're able to get the daily videos that I do. So peace, much love, namaste.